Hello everybody and welcome to another video on utilizing APIs in Roll20 for systems that are not explicitly supported within the virtual tabletop of our choice. Today's video goes over a popcorn initiative tracker. So this is for when you don't have a static turn order for when your players are embroiled in a combat encounter. The way that this tracker works is that it will enable you to start an encounter, taking account of all of the tokens within that map that you are currently pinned into. And then once each token is highlighted as have acted, it will then ask you to proceed to the next round. So this is not going to be useful for every type of popcorn initiative system. However, it works for some, and it works for mine, for my in development tabletop RPG, which will have more videos incoming relatively soon, breaking down the rules as well as an actual play, which I'm recording with some of my players. We're just waiting on portrait art to be done of each of the characters before we start to publish those videos on YouTube. So I'm going to show you how this API is set up on Roll20 and how it works, just so that you can see how quick and how easy it is to get this thing up and running. It's very simply just a copy and paste of an API script into your API sandbox on Roll20. Just hold on one moment, I need to take a tea break. Okay, so I have a secondary version of this script, which is available, or at least is present here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click Save Script. That is going to refresh the sandbox, and then we are going to get our relevant things pop up here. You can see here, I now have a little handout. I might go back and redo all of my previous APIs so they have their own documentation with them as well. We'll see how much time I have available. So this is our little handout here, and this is our little turn controller. So the turn controller is something that is required. It has some buttons here, just make it relatively simple to control an encounter, beginning and ending. But the main one that is needed for the token labeled turn controller is the next round token action. That is the only one that is required to be here within a token. It's just the way that the script works, and it houses information, and it is required to be as it currently is. Once this is set up, I'm going to click the install macros. We're going to install these macros here, and then I can delete this one because I don't need that one anymore. And then we have our other macros. So the acted macro that has now been populated inside needs to be toggled on as show us the token action, as well as visible to all players. So when they select their token in game, they can mark themselves as acted. We then have the encounter add and the encounter remove buttons, which can also be toggled as token actions if you want, just don't make them visible to the players. So let's see here. What I'm going to do is we are going to go over to a scene here. So, let's see. We're going to drag our turn controller over here, just to the top of the scene. So, what does the turn controller do? Well, it does a couple of things. It enables us to start and end encounters, as well as toggle auto remove on and off. So starting a counter takes account of each token with values within the bar 1 of a token, and then signifies those as participants within the encounter. Ending the encounter just ends the combat. It clears all of that that token listing within the API, as well as removing the round counter, resetting that. Alrighty, toggle auto remove. So what this does is it toggles on and off the auto remove of a token if they are reduced to 0 health. And it is automatically, when you start an encounter, that toggle is reset to true. If you want to set it to false, make sure that you set it to false. And you can set it to true and false partway through a game or partway through an encounter if you wish so. So if you're, for instance, fighting off against a couple of vampires and they regenerate health at the start of their turn, or maybe trolls, and they haven't been hit with fire damage, then you can make it so that they are still within your initiative tracker, and if you forget, you can just add them back into the initiative tracker very simply with the encounter add macro button, which is, I have it down here on the bottom macro bar. We then have the next round button. The next round button just moves you to the next round, so if you need to track rounds, you're able to do so. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to run through a pseudo combat. So we are going to click this, we're going to start encounter, so we can see here encounter has begun. Right, you may have seen that there was a little token marker on Baldwin here. Because we have started an encounter, it has cleared that token marker off of their token if it was previously there. Okay, so let's say Baldwin goes first. He charges forwards. He swings his mace at this horrid creature, spines protruding from its back, saliva pooling in the front of its teeth as they all crisscross over one another, some of them cutting into its gums as his red eyes gleam out at him with malice. He makes his attack, he deals some damage, so we'll say he takes 5 points of damage, leaving him at 15 health. We can then mark Baldwin as acted. So, because this is a token action, we click acted, and he is selected, it now marks him as acted with the little fist icon, and then you can see here, Baldwin marked as acted. Right, okay, so Baldwin has succeeded on his turn. For my popcorn initiative system, if you succeed on your first check for your turn within a combat encounter, then you get to pass over the turn to somebody else. So he's going to pass the turn over to Naren. Naren is going to charge forwards and take a swing with his Nodachi. There we go. So Naren is now marked as acted, and let's say we'll cut another 8 points of health off of him for that one. Fairly meaty chunk of damage. Now, once the creature goes and it is acted, taking maybe a couple of snapping bites at both Baldwin and Naren, trying to push them off as it flails its body around, threatening to impale its spines into them with the ferociousness of its movements. You can now see that all tokens have acted this round, and then I can go the next round. What if another token enters into the combat and coming in to reinforce as they now operate as a pack? You've decided that maybe partway through the encounter it was meant to be a little bit more difficult than it was, or reinforcements are joining. So rather than adding them into your initiative tracker when you don't need them, now we can add them in here. So we can see here that the Form Beast has been added. And when we proceeded to the next round, that turn tracker, that highlight, that token marker upon them has been cleared away. And then let's say maybe Baldwin had to drop away, so we've decided to remove them out of the encounter. They've been called away to work, so we can just remove him from the encounter now. Now it's just Naren against these two horrendous creatures. So, well, let's say this creature goes first. It hits Naren for a couple of damage, raking its claws over his thigh, blood pooling through the black of his trousers, making it glisten with moisture. And then the other one comes up behind as well, biting into his shoulder, pinning him down as the other one begins to drool upon his beak. Then we can say that Darren has acted, and you can see here it has kept track of who was in the combat, because we've removed Baldwin, we added another Fawn Beast. You can see that. And then if we do this, it has cleared their token markers and proceeded to the next round. And then if I want to just end the encounter, I can end the encounter. However, what I am going to do is we're going to mark this one as 0. And then here, so once this one is marked as 0, we can see here the Fawn Beast has dropped to 0 HP and is removed from the encounter. What if I decide to toggle? See? So I've toggled auto remove off, I've made this one 0 health, and it has not come away out of the initiative. Maybe because it has some regenerative traits, or it regains some hit points. Okay, and then we can say this one acts again, Naren acts, and then we can proceed to the next round. This one dies as Naren chases it down, sort of holding onto the spines of its tail, spinning it around for a moment with enough force to maybe break the base of its, where the hips meet the vertebrae of the tail. And as he swings him round, he throws it into a protruding boulder in this grassy field. Blood now spattering against the white flowers that peek through the green. And we can mark this one as dead and gone. Oh, sorry, we should have marked this. There we go. So let's just put him back to 1 HP. Then we put him to 0. And then he has been removed. There we go. And now, if I was to mark Naren as acted, we could proceed to the next round if we needed to. Or we can just end the encounter. Encounter ended. All data cleared. That is the system. That is the Popcorn Initiative tracker. Now, if you accidentally delete any of this and you need it back, all you need to do is you just need to click like save script in one of your scripts. All you need to do is just restart your API sandbox. That is all you need to do. So I could delete this. Yeah, no, we'll just delete that. And then if I restart this, there you go. And they're back again. Balls, pick and span, and brown new. So, there we are. If anybody has any questions, please just put them down in the comments down below. Please leave a like as well as subscribe if you are interested in learning more about my in-development system as well as the actual play that is to come. In either case, if you decide to stick around or if this is the last time I will see you, have a wonderful week and happy gaming.